Welcome to the Divinely Driven Results Live show. I'm your host, Elise Smith, Christian business strategist, and I empower Christian women entrepreneurs to reach those sales goals that just seem so far away, right? Really by partnering with God, empowering their mindset, and utilizing biblical business strategy. Now, in order to reach those goals, oftentimes we find ourselves saying something like, man, I never have enough time, or I'm not going to do this in time, or I just can't seem to get everything done that I want to, or I suck at managing time. Any of those thoughts feel or seem familiar to you? Yeah, we talk about those things all the time. I never have enough money. I never have enough energy. And the enoughness just takes over our lives, and we feel like we are not enough because of it. Well, our thoughts and our words are super powerful, but power can be used to empower us or disempower us. So in today's video, you are going to, and podcast and all the fun places you can see us here, we're going to go through the 4 keys to stepping into abundance like no other. We just got done with our Thanksgiving dinner and our tummies are full last week, right? And we stepped into abundance in so many different ways, our cornucopia of everything that we have that we're thankful for. But sometimes that abundance starts to fade away, and then we go back into that scarcity mindset in so many different ways. So we're going to talk about our thoughts and our words that can really help us to find the abundance that we have all around us. So let's start, of course, with our biblical success principle, which is John 1:1. And it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Do you know how powerful words are? John says it right here that God used the words to be able to actually create the world. How powerful. What are you creating or maybe even destroying with the words that you use? Because scarcity comes from, we know it, Satan, the adversary, the person who wants us to stop us from really fulfilling those dreams that God has given us in our heart, right? Because he wants you to feel like you don't have any choice. That's where scarcity comes from, is a lack of choices. And our souls yearn for choice and that agency that God has given us. And he wants to take away the adversary, Satan, the devil, however you want to call him, right? He wants to take away that agency, that beautiful gift that God has given us. And so when we feel like we don't have any options, when we feel like we're stuck and we get into this scarcity loop, then it really starts to impact how we talk to ourselves and even how we talk to other people. And so I want to go to another scripture here that is going to help to paint a really amazing picture. And you may not have thought about this scripture in this way. So let's go to Matthew 13:12. And it says, "For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, him shall be taken away even that he hath." So this is all talking about the parable of the talents, right? This concept of that, what you do with what you've been given will really determine what you're given in the future. And so if we are constantly complaining about time and money and resources and energy, then why would God bless us with those things? In fact, when we feel like we have very little, even that little doesn't seem like it's enough. And so therefore we reap scarcity. Scarcity reaps scarcity, but abundance reaps abundance. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, as we know, right? And so I want you guys to put in the chat here, in the comments down below, what is it that you feel like you are having that scarcity mindset around right now? And we're going to help to flip that around with these 4 keys. So we already know that God is a God of abundance. So let's go to 2 Corinthians 9:8. We're going to be in the Bible quite a bit here today because that's how we can build our business in the Lord's way, is using his biblical success principles. So 2 Corinthians 9:8 says, "And God is able to make all grace abound toward you, always having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work." All. Do you know how many times it's said there? Like 3 or 4 times. We're talking about all. This abounding in everything, in all sufficiency, in all things. That means that everything that you have is enough. right? We just have to really look for it. We have to be aware of it. And that is key number one. This is going to be your number one thing is awareness. Watch those feelings and those words, sister, because you create what you think and you say. We all know the chain of the chain of events here. The thoughts that we have lead to those feelings that we have. Those feelings, of course, lead to our actions or our inactions, and those actions and inactions lead to the results or even lack thereof that we have currently. And so if you want to change your results, if you want to feel like you have enough time, and really what is enough, right? So it's kind of vague in and of itself. But if you want to feel like you have enough money and enough resources, enough energy, then we have to start with changing our thoughts and our feelings first so that we can change those actions, because we create that self-fulfilling prophecy. So what are you saying to yourself about time and money and resources and energy? Really take a second and think about what is the last thing you said about those types of things. And what I want you guys to do is take out a piece of paper and pen, because we are giving real strategies here so that we can have divine results in our business. So write down 3 disempowering thoughts that you have had in the last maybe 24 hours or 48 hours, or that you feel like you have right this very second about time, money, energy, resources, whatever hits home for you, right? It doesn't feel good to write about that. We know it. We know that that's like, oh man, I hate saying I don't have enough. But we have to start with awareness. That's key number one. What are you currently thinking in scarcity? So if you feel like sharing that down below, we want to hear more about what are your scarcity thoughts so we can really work through them, because it starts with awareness. What part of your business are you feeling scarcity in? Really dial it in and figure out what that is that's holding you back. And then I want you to ask yourself, this is part of key number one, not only what are you thinking of in scarcity, but what is the cost of that mindset for you? What is it costing you to feel like you never have enough time? Is it costing you your sanity? We know how that goes, right? That we feel like we're running around like a chicken with its head cut off. I have no idea why somebody came up with that suggestion, but that's the phrase that comes to mind, right? Sometimes I feel like that, every single day that I have that scarcity mindset of not having enough time, then I take that frantic, chaotic energy into everything that I do. And that can even cost me sales. I know that there are times where I have that scarcity mindset, especially when I first got started in business, and that frantic, chaotic energy that I would bring to a sales call, and that desperateness of scarcity of like, oh, I just need someone to buy from me right now, right? That can absolutely be translated to the other person and transmitted to the other person, and they can start feeling that scarcity mindset too. That's costing you sales, my sister. So I want you to really think about it. What is it that you are currently in a scarcity mindset around in your business? And what is the cost of that scarcity mindset? This is going to be eye-opening. So that's key number one. Key number two, is identify the cost. So key number one is awareness of really understanding where that scarcity mindset is at in your business. Key number two is identifying the cost. We wouldn't do something if it didn't benefit us in some way. And sometimes we are selective of looking at the benefits of like, no, it's totally fine. I only feel this scarcity in my head and it's not affecting anyone else, right? But we have to identify the cost of both to us and to those around us, because our mindset has the power to either empower us or disempower us. So key number 3 is challenge. Challenge it. If you guys have ever heard me talk about your inner dream stealer, you know that one of the 4 C's to overcoming your inner dream stealer is to challenge that thought. And it's the same thing here, is challenge that scarcity thought or that scarcity feeling. How true is that for you really? Like you don't have any time whatsoever? Nah, it's not true, right? God's up there saying like, I've given everyone 24 hours in a day, and we all have enough time. We all have the same time. And so it's okay for us to say, how true is that for me, really, that I never get anything done that I want to, or that I never have the energy that I'm looking for? When we can start challenging it, then we can start understanding and discerning the truth from the adversary's lies. Another way to look at this is asking yourself that question. What's another way to look at this? Okay, I am freaking out because I feel like I never have enough time or money or energy or whatever that may be. But the reason why I'm freaking out about that is because the thing that I'm working on is so important. Getting this online course out is so important to me, or serving those clients in a higher way is so important to me. There's actual facts here. The facts are we all have the same amount of time. And the fact is that you wouldn't be freaking out about it if it wasn't important to you. So that's another way to look at that, right? So challenge that scarcity mindset. You can ask yourself where it came from if you want to go there, but you really don't have to. You can ask yourself, what is it that I'm feeling scarcity in my business? Identify the cost. What is that really costing me? And challenging it. How true is that for me, really? Understanding the difference between the truth that God wants you to know and the lies that the adversary wants you to believe. That's going to be powerful. Okay, you guys ready for key number 4? This is going to make all the difference in the world here. And it might be very similar to our 4 C's to overcoming our inner dream stealer. And that is to choose. We can't just let our thoughts run into scarcity whenever they want to, right? We need to, just like it says in Romans, captivate our thoughts, really take them captive. And so we get to choose. How do you want to think and feel? If you don't want to have that scarcity mindset, then what are some empowering thoughts or some abundant thoughts that you can choose to have? We have to be able to choose what it is that we want to co-create with God before we actually co-create it with Him. So how do you actually want to think and feel about this in that abundant vein, right? What proof do you have that there's abundance all around you? We just celebrated a cornucopia of, here in the United States, and you guys probably did in other places in the world, right? In different days that you have that really focus on abundance, but you see all these blessings around you when you look for them. Ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. So are you asking for that abundance? Are you seeking that abundance? That's where we get to really choose what it is that we want to think and feel, and then co-create that with God by really putting that into action. And you're going to just choose that over and over and over again. Choose abundance over and over and over again. And you'll actually reprogram your brain to be able to have that abundant thought when this situation comes up. So write in the comments, I want to hear, what are some abundant thoughts that you actually want to have? What is it that you are abundantly blessed with right now? Let's not focus on the things you don't have, even though you probably do have more than those things, more of those things than you realize, but focusing on the abundance all around you. That is going to help you to choose abundance over and over. One thing that I had a hard time with when it comes to that scarcity mindset was in my clientele. I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I niched down too far and I can't find anybody that's a Christian woman entrepreneur, especially in like the service-based business industry, because that's who I really, really love working with. That is the thing, is that if we think, oh my gosh, there's nobody out there because maybe I've niched down too far, or, there's all of those fears and doubts that come up around scarcity. But one thing that really changed my mind about that, and this was huge, this was a coach that I used to work with. She said, there are more, and I'm going to adapt this to how I say this, there are more of your divine client out there than you can possibly serve. And that helped me to see the truth and stepped into abundance like never before. And so I want you guys to find the proof of the truth that you are trying to convince yourself of, because it is the truth. What we seek, we shall find. So what are you seeking? Are you seeking scarcity, or are you seeking abundance? So just doing that over and over and over again, every single time you choose abundance, it's going to reroute that path in your brain, right? And then choose scriptures. that reinforce that new thought and that new belief, or choose to be around people who support that abundant way of thinking, right? So watch that, watch the words that you're using. So key number one is awareness. What areas of your business are you feeling scarcity? Key number two is to identify the cost. What is it really costing you, so that you can see that you don't want to continue doing that, right? And key number three is to challenge that. How true is that for me really? And key number four is to choose to be around the people who are going to support you in the choice thought that you have chosen in order to be able to create abundance as opposed to scarcity. And here's a bonus key, by the way, guys. Give yourself patience and time. It is not going to be overnight, right? You're not going to go from, oh my gosh, I'm so feeling scarcity in this area, to I have 100% abundance all around me, right? We want to say those things and have them be true, but it takes time to reroute your brain to look for abundance as opposed to scarcity. So feel free to give yourself that patience and that time, but don't let yourself off the hook. Make sure that you are focusing on that abundance every time. So those are my 4 key steps for you. And in fact, I threw in that bonus step of giving yourself that patience and that time, and really allowing yourself to use Christ's atonement to say, okay, yesterday I was in a scarcity mindset. Today I get to choose abundance. Remember, choice. So even if you don't believe that new thought, maybe it's the farthest from, what you're feeling right now, what can you do to reinforce that mindset? You can talk to yourself about how would that person who has abundant thoughts and feelings think and feel and act and say. And as we watch those types of things, we will be able to start seeing abundance all around us. So really step into those 4 keys, and that's going to make all the difference in the world in your business. You're going to start seeing things that you never even saw before, like amazing opportunities and people to be able to serve, because God has called you to do this business. So I know you can do it, my sister. All right. Now, if you want even more amazing tips and tricks about how to grow your business in the Lord's way and great training, make sure you come join us in our Faithful Ladypreneurs Facebook group. And in fact, as you join us, you're going to see about our incredible workshop that's coming up on December 8th. It is going to be amazing. We've all gone through those goal setting workshops, right? And you take out a piece of paper and you say, okay, here's what I want to accomplish, and I'm going to work my way backwards. And then what happens is that we put them on the shelf and we forget about them. And that's why we created something completely different in how to build your business in the Lord's way for 2022. So you can have those amazing goals in just the right areas. You're going to get a divine business assessment. So you're going to see where you're strong in your business and where maybe there's some room for improvement, and how to be able to create a plan to really address those things, so that 2022 really is that year that you hit all those amazing revenue goals, where you double your business and triple your business. We want to give you that start for 2022. So make sure you check out thefaithstrategy.com/planning workshop. And don't worry, we'll put all the links here so that you have access to them. And get registered today, because it's a free workshop. It's a 2-hour workshop where we're going to just dive in deep to how to build your business in the Lord's way in the 7 pillars of a divinely successful business. So you're not going to want to miss it. Go to thefaithstrategy.com/planning workshop, and you are going to be able to get registered for an amazing free workshop and get an incredible assessment that's going to help you to understand what's working and what's not working in your business. So check out Faithful Ladypreneurs and thefaithstrategy.com/planning workshop. All right, guys, we will see you there. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you